you do when you're on set and you need like an energy boost? What's your go-to trick?
Definitely a green juice. I mean, I think trying to go for coffee or things like that only end up hurting you at the end. So to get like a really good natural source of energy like...
The lives of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have taken many unexpected turns, but no one saw this one coming. Once surrounded by royal chefs and five-star menus, the couple now follows a daily diet that's raising more than just eyebrows. After months of quiet lifestyle changes, what they eat nowadays looks nothing like what they used to have. And as people try to understand what's going on, one big question remains unanswered, and that is, why the change, and what does it say about who they've become? Join us as we take a closer look at what Harry and Meghan really eat in a day. How it started. It's no secret that life changes when you walk away from the palace. But no one expected Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to change this much, not just in status, but in the smallest details of their daily lives. Like what they eat. Once part of a world where meals were served with silver cutlery and royal chefs crafted every bite, Prince Harry's new reality looks a lot different. Some say their new lifestyle is cleaner and healthier. Others call it extreme, even messy. So which is it? Stick around until the end of this video, because the truth might surprise you. To understand how things got here, we have to go back, way back to the days before Meghan came into the picture. You see, back then, Prince Harry was famously called the Party Prince, and that was because of the fact that his younger days were filled with pub nights, fast food, and carefree royal luxury. He wasn't exactly watching calories or sipping green juice. In fact, Prince Harry once admitted to loving pizza, burgers, and a strong drink now and then. His lifestyle reflected exactly what the public expected from a royal bachelor with no responsibilities other than shaking hands and showing up. But all of that started to shift in 2016, the year Harry met Meghan Markle. Meghan was said to be different because she was not a royal. She was a Hollywood actress with her own habits and her own rules. While Harry was still enjoying late-night pub snacks, Meghan was already starting her mornings with hot lemon water and wrapping up her evenings with vegan dinners. She believed in clean eating, juicing, and listening to your body, as she said in interviews before meeting Harry. And it didn't take long before those beliefs became part of his daily life too. By the time their royal wedding came around in 2018, Harry's transformation was impossible to ignore. Reports said he had cut carbs, stopped drinking, and dropped at least 7 pounds. Palace sources whispered that he was in the best shape of his life. But this was not just about looking good for the cameras. This was the beginning of a new identity. The identity of a man who was no longer a bachelor and had to stick to the Queen's rule for married couples. Queen Elizabeth II had many long-standing traditions, especially when it came to food. One strict rule was that no garlic was allowed in palace meals. The Queen did not like the strong smell or taste of it, so royal chefs never used it. This was a big change for Meghan Markle, who was a big fan of garlic. Before joining the royal family, she loved cooking and had even shared her favorite recipe for garlic roasted chicken online. Cooking was something she enjoyed and used to bring people together. After marrying Prince Harry, Meghan had to give up many of her personal habits. She could no longer cook freely in her own kitchen because she was now living in the royal house. All meals had to follow royal rules and be approved by palace chefs. Even cooking with Harry became impossible, and this was something they used to do often and enjoyed as a couple. Now it was rare. What was once a fun and normal part of her life slowly disappeared. But here comes the shocker. Dinner time, which is known to be a joyful moment where families talk and share their thoughts, was not flexible in the royal household either. Meals in the royal house were served on schedule, often earlier than most people would expect, and according to decades-old royal routines. They had to eat with specific cutlery, use formal table manners, and speak only when it was appropriate. For a couple that had built their relationship on relaxed nights in, cooking together and chatting freely, this change was jarring. Even the staff around them reinforced this new reality. According to insiders, things were so rigid that they missed the scheduled lunchtime, typically around 1 p.m. There were no second chances. No one was permitted to save the couple a plate, and there were no casual snacks for them to take over. The system did not give room for flexibility. For Meghan and Harry, who were used to more relaxed and personal routines, this formality was more than inconvenient. It was suffocating. Even something as ordinary as eating became a controlled ritual. This was so much for Meghan to bear that in just a few months after her marriage, the cracks had already begun to show. It was clear that she was not just adapting to royal life. She was being asked to erase parts of herself to fit in. For someone who had built a name on self-expression and lifestyle, the palace's quiet restrictions felt heavy. One moment that stood out came during the 2019 royal tour of Morocco. While most royals stuck to safe, plain foods on foreign trips, Meghan did the opposite. She embraced the culture, tasting traditional dishes like pigeon pie and chatting openly with local chefs. It was a small gesture to man, but inside palace circles, it was seen as stepping outside the expected. So while the outside world envied Harry and Meghan's royal life, behind closed doors, they were quietly struggling. But that struggle came to an end the day Harry made a bold decision to step away from the royal family. He didn't want history to repeat itself. He had watched his mother suffer under the weight of royal life, and he was determined not to let the same thing happen to his wife. After leaving the UK, the couple settled in California, where they embraced a completely new lifestyle, including an eating routine that has caught a lot of attention. So what exactly do Harry and Meghan eat today? Keep watching, because the details might surprise you. Life after royal exit, California lifestyle. When Meghan and Harry left the royal family, they saw it as a movement of freedom, not just personal, but deeply symbolic. It was so profound that Harry and Meghan declared they would be building their own palace in Sussex. But this was not a palace in the traditional sense. There were no velvet curtains, no guards at the gate, no royal flag flying high. It was a metaphor, meaning they saw the Sussex home as a space where they could do whatever they liked, on their terms. And at the heart of that freedom was something that they were starved of for so long, and that is food. Meghan wasted no time. One of the first things she did after stepping back was return to something that brought her real joy: food, storytelling, and culture. She launched her passion project, a community cookbook titled Together, in partnership with the women of the Hub Community Kitchen. It was not a showy Hollywood moment. It was simple, grassroots, and deeply personal. The project raised funds to help women who had been displaced by the Grenfell Tower fire, and it also marked Meghan's first true public step into food freedom since leaving palace life. That book was more than a collection of recipes. It was more than just a return. It was a declaration. A way of showing that she was back in the kitchen, fully present, and ready to bring everything she had to the table. Meanwhile, life in Montecito, California, was starting to take shape. They started doing what they wanted to do. Harry and Meghan cooked together. But with that, freedom came responsibility for Meghan, one that was not shaped by anyone in the royal house, but by his duty as a wife. You see, Meghan had always leaned toward clean eating and wellness, even before Harry. In her old lifestyle blog, The Tig, she often shared recipes, healthy routines, and food reflections from her travels. Now, in California, she finally had the space to live out those ideas without any filter. According to friends, Meghan quickly reinstated her plant-forward eating habits, filling their kitchen with fresh produce, grains, and nutrient-rich ingredients. Organic groceries became a staple. Weekly trips to the local farmers market were no longer a photo op. They were real moments of family life. Meghan reportedly makes many of the decisions around their meals. Breakfast often starts early with a detoxifying drink. Hot lemon water, or her signature green juice packed with spinach, kale, apple, ginger, and turmeric. For Harry, it was a big shift. The man once known as the Party Prince, whose diet used to center around pizza, beer, and late-night fast food, was now sipping beetroot juice and eating grilled vegetables for lunch. But those who know him say he didn't just adapt to Meghan's influence, he embraced it. Over time, he found comfort in the new lifestyle. And Prince Harry now enjoys light protein, fresh salads, and has even grown to love quinoa, something he had never tried before meeting Meghan. It did not end there. In California, they started a new ritual. Harry and Meghan are known to cook together in the evenings. Before it was done once in a while, but now it's more frequent. And anything they cook, the couple goes ahead to experiment with new recipes, especially plant-based ones. Meghan is said to be a big fan of roasted vegetables, homemade soups, and simple pasta dishes with bold flavors. The kind of food that nourishes but still feels indulgent. So what does a typical day of eating look like for the Sussexes now? Breakfast in Harry and Meghan's home is simple, healthy, and made with care. Meghan enjoys steel-cut oats topped with banana and a drizzle of agave syrup, or avocado toast sprinkled with chili flakes and finished with a poached egg. On lighter days, she'll have a green juice, paired with herbal tea or matcha. Harry prefers something filling but still healthy, like toast with almond butter, a smoothie, or scrambled eggs with vegetables. Their mornings are calm and focused on starting the day with good, nourishing food. Then their lunch tends to be light and seasonal. They often prepare meals like quinoa bowls, lentil salads, or vegan tacos, all using fresh ingredients and avoiding processed foods as much as possible. This approach to eating reflects a strong preference for whole, clean foods and a deep respect for health and well-being. Dinner is a special time for Meghan and Harry. They do not just eat, but they also connect as a family. Evening meals are often baked salmon with sweet potato, a hearty vegetable stew, or something adventurous like sushi. They now enjoy bolder flavors and more relaxed menus, a clear contrast to the highly controlled and traditional dining environment they left behind in the royal household. And now the Sussex are free to eat the snacks that they could not eat in Buckingham Palace. But even though they are free, their snacks are simple too. Meghan is known to snack on almonds or green apples with peanut butter, while Harry, who has a bit of a sweet tooth, now leans toward healthier options like fruit or dark chocolate. When it comes to drinks, the Sussex enjoy the occasional glass of red wine but have mostly replaced sugary cocktails with more natural choices like kombucha or herbal tonics. When Meghan and Harry entertain guests, it's far from the stiff, silver-plated formal dinners of royal tradition. Their gatherings feel more like a relaxed picnic, casual, homemade meals, meaningful conversation, and a few glasses of wine shared with close friends. It's about comfort and connection, not ceremony. Even their children's meals reflect this shift. Instead of following royal protocols, which often included strict rules about what children could eat, Meghan and Harry focus on variety, balance, and healthy habits. Their kids are introduced to fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole foods from an early age, forming a relationship with food that is free of pressure and rich in meaning. What they have created is not just a new menu, but a new lifestyle. Meghan has spoken openly about how intentional eating has become a key value in their home, caring about where food comes from, how it's made, and who's affected by its production. They shop locally, support sustainable brands, and even grow some of their own produce in their backyard, including herbs, tomatoes, and lemons. For the Sussexes, food has become more than a necessity. It is a form of expression, a reflection of values, a daily reminder that they've reclaimed their lives. Whether it's Meghan's quiet love for cooking or Harry's shift to a cleaner diet, their eating habits show a profound transformation. This isn't just about staying fit or following trends. It's about living authentically, something they fought hard to do. But the Sussexes do not just eat, they are shaping the world through their food choices. Stay with us as we explore the powerful impact of what they put on their plates. The impact of what the Sussex eat. When Meghan and Harry left royal life, they did not just change their location. They changed how they live. And one of the biggest changes was how they eat. At first, people thought it was just a Hollywood trend. Health food, smoothies, kale, and green juice. But over time, it became clear that it was more than that. Meghan and Harry's food choices were not just personal. They started to influence the world around them too. One of the most clear examples occurred in 2020. Shortly after launching their Archewell Foundation, Meghan and Harry teamed up with World Central Kitchen, the nonprofit founded by chef José Andrés. Known for showing up with warm meals in war zones and disaster-hit areas, the organization has fed millions in times of crisis. But with Harry and Meghan's help, they did something even more lasting. Harry and Meghan began building permanent community relief kitchens in vulnerable parts of the world. These were not just soup kitchens or pop-up food trucks. They were resilient hubs designed to serve hot meals during emergencies and continue functioning as community centers year-round. The first was in Dominica, followed by Puerto Rico, India, and the US. Each center includes a full-service kitchen, clean water access, and space for education or shelter during natural disasters. Through this partnership, Harry and Meghan made a statement that food is not just comfort or culture, it's infrastructure, dignity, and survival. This wasn't about photo ops or curated media moments. It was about putting their values into action, brick by brick, plate by plate. But their food activism didn't stop there. In 2021, Meghan made headlines for a very different kind of statement, a public letter to the US Congress. In that letter, she advocated for paid parental leave and highlighted the painful choices many working-class families face in the United States. One line that stood was the part where she wrote about mothers having to choose between feeding their children or going to work. It was a small moment, but a bold one, connecting food, policy, and parental dignity. It wasn't the kind of issue a former royal was expected to wade into. But Meghan went there anyway, using her voice to shine light on how food insecurity isn't just a third-world issue. It's happening every day in America's own neighborhoods. The letter raised serious debate, praise, and criticism. But what it also did was connect food access to something deeper: family wellness and the right to care for your child without sacrificing their next meal. Now, if Harry and Meghan are using their platforms to make bold public statements, they are also influencing people in quieter ways, simply by being themselves. Meghan's new YouTube channel, a recent project that surprised many, now offers peeks into her daily life, from healthy cooking demos to mindfulness routines. But what was supposed to seem like soft lifestyle content has sparked bigger conversations. Videos of her making green smoothies or prepping plant-based meals are not just casual uploads. They have become part of a growing movement toward intentional, everyday wellness. Many people have fallen in love with her, so much so that she's gained over 9 million followers across Instagram and YouTube, a number that most royals could only dream of. But not everyone has praised this shift. Meghan Markle's own father publicly criticized the channel, calling it out of touch and too curated, adding to the already complex public reaction around her choices. Even with the criticism, Meghan's digital presence has created a blueprint for a certain kind of life, one where food is thoughtful, beautiful, and part of self-care. Avocado toast with chili flakes, matcha in handmade mugs, organic snacks during work breaks. These are not just food ideas, they have become lifestyle symbols of calm, clarity, and quiet control. And whether she meant to or not, Meghan has once again helped shape how a generation talks about food, wellness, and the freedom to choose your own rhythm. And this is not just about Meghan alone. Harry's shift, too, hasn't gone unnoticed. Once known for midnight kebabs and pub nights, Prince Harry is now part of the plant-forward conversation. And that change gives people, especially men, permission to reconsider what masculinity and health look like together. When people see Harry embracing green smoothies, kombucha, and almond butter toast, they're reminded that evolving isn't weakness, it's self-respect. And then there's the next generation, their children. Meghan and Harry have said little publicly about their parenting style, but sources close to the couple say their children's diet is just as intentional as theirs. Instead of rigid royal rules about meals and table conduct, they're focusing on balanced, fresh foods and positive food experiences. That includes involving their kids in meal prep, introducing global flavors early, and steering clear of ultra-processed snacks. It's a quiet revolution, a break from royal protocol, and a message to other parents that food can be both joyful and educational, not just something to control. Public reaction to what the Sussex eat. Despite what Harry and Meghan eat and the impact of their food on the world, not everyone is impressed. Some critics have called Harry and Meghan's lifestyle performative or out of touch, especially when it comes to what they eat. Their daily meals, filled with organic groceries, private chefs, green juices, and time to cook together, seem far from the reality most people live in. While millions are struggling with jobs, childcare, and rising grocery bills, the idea of farm to table can feel more like a fantasy than a goal. Clean eating often comes second to price, convenience, or simply what's available. So when Meghan shares her avocado toast or Harry's shift to beetroot smoothies, some see it not as inspiring, but as showing off. And there's truth in that critique. The Sussex lifestyle is built on privilege. They have money, time, and access to things that many do not. But that does not mean their choices are meaningless. In fact, that same privilege is part of why their choices carry weight. Because when people with platforms like theirs start showing interest in sustainability, plant-based meals, or mindful eating, it pushes those topics into the spotlight. Their decisions get people talking, even if that talk is mixed. Some fans admire how they've used their freedom to create a healthy home for their children. Others roll their eyes, especially when stories emerge about things like no processed food in the house, or snack bans for their kids. Social media especially has a split view. Some call Meghan Markle a modern wellness icon, while others accuse Meghan of being controlling or fake. But no matter the opinion, people are watching. And in a world where food systems affect climate, health, and justice, what we eat is political. Harry and Meghan have chosen to eat in a way that reflects their values: freedom, care, and intentional living. Their food story is not just about luxury. It's about how we use what we have, whether a platform, a garden, or even a single meal, to say something bigger about the world we want to live in. What are your thoughts on the way the Sussexes eat? Do you think it's authentic or just for show? And most importantly, how do you think they've used their food choices and platform to impact other people's lives? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out the next video popping up on your screen now. You will like it.